So I started playing piano when I was 5. I'm one of 7 kids. I have 2 Asian tiger parents who said, "You're gonna play piano." And so from age 5, I've been playing piano classically. It was always kind of a really big part of my life. When I went to college, I remember experiencing a lot of imposter syndrome. So I started practicing a lot more. Bum, 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 bum. I started experiencing pain, and eventually it got to a point where the pain didn't go away at all. During high school, I first started to experience a little bit of pain, just some soreness on my wrists, but I didn't really think anything of it, and I never really took it seriously because it wasn't that serious at the time. So I just iced my wrists and then think that I was so cool because I was having a little bit of soreness, which I thought meant that I was pretty tough. And then when I went to college, my mom really wanted me to be a music major. And so I ended up choosing music therapy, which wasn't a piano performance major, but it was still requiring a lot of piano practice for scholarship reasons. So I came to Biola University and I was taking lessons, and I remember experiencing a lot of imposter syndrome that made me really feel the need to prove myself all the time. So I started practicing a lot more and taking my piano studies pretty seriously. And actually for the first time ever in my life, I felt like I was really loving playing piano because it was something that I was doing on my own instead of just something that my mom had made me do. And it was around December of my freshman year when I first started to experience pain again while in college. I again thought that it was pretty cool because I didn't know anything about piano injuries. And I was playing the Grieg Piano Concerto, which is a piece that I had always wanted to play, but my piano teacher in high school told me that my hands were too small. But now that I was in college, I was like, oh, I can do whatever I want to. And I was really excited because it was one of my favorite pieces ever, and so it was kind of my dream piece. But again, the imposter syndrome plus a lot of pressure from myself made me really practice long hours. And the opening of the piano concerto is a ton of really big chords, and I would just play that opening section for 2 hours at a time, and it's bum, 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 and I would just go back and forth over those big chords for a really long time. And so I started experiencing pain and didn't take it seriously because I thought that it was a sign that I was practicing really hard. After a little bit, the pain got to a point where I felt like it wouldn't go away for hours after I practiced. Instead of just being kind of sore while I was playing, it lasted even longer. And eventually it got to a point where the pain didn't go away at all. And finally, I decided to take it seriously and stop being so perfectionistic and ask for help. So I told my piano teacher, and she was actually kind of concerned. So I ended up going to the doctor, and they basically diagnosed me with tendonitis. Tendonitis is supposed to go away in 4 to 6 weeks, but after several weeks, past 4 to 6 weeks, it really didn't go away. And at this point, I was still really perfectionistic, so I was still trying to practice whenever I could, as long as I wasn't in excruciating pain. I really didn't like asking for help, so I'd still try to carry things, still try to write my assignments and everything. I was really stubborn, but I eventually was told by some of my piano professors after the pain didn't go away that I would never really be able to play piano how I did before. And that was a really hard pill to swallow because, again, I've played piano for my whole life. Being in college was the first time that I had actually really loved playing piano too. And so it felt weird that this thing that I had just started loving was getting taken away from me. And playing piano was also a really big part of my identity as well. And so it was really difficult for me to wrap my mind around that. But the pain continued for several months. And so I started to experience a lot of frustration at myself and at God. I think at that point I realized that it was really not good that I hadn't taken it seriously at first. And so eventually I was able to see more doctors and get officially diagnosed with pretty severe tendonitis in both wrists, but also tennis elbow and golfer's elbow in both my elbows, and then also tendonitis in my shoulders and my back as well. So it really went all over. And basically ever since December of 2021, my freshman year, I haven't had a single day without pain. I definitely remember going through the stages of grief with that, having to really work through a lot of the frustration and a lot of the sadness that would come with it. There were a lot of piano pieces that I really wanted to play that I just couldn't anymore because I couldn't play piano for more than like 30 minutes without having pain. I think every single semester, ever since I got injured, I've had some sort of like threatening email or serious conversation with the piano professors, talking to me about my scholarship and saying I needed to take piano more seriously. I kind of got to the point where I had accepted that I couldn't play piano how I wanted to, but it was difficult to communicate that with other people. Now, how that relates to my relationship with the Lord, I really didn't know how to talk to God about it. And I remember thinking about how it would be such a good testimony if the Lord would just heal me magically and I would just wake up and I would just be magically healed. I also remember people praying over me for miraculous healing, and they were like, oh, I believe that the Spirit can heal you. And I totally believe that He could, but I don't think that it was His plan to. And so when I would have people pray over me and then I wouldn't be healed, that also caused some like faith crises in myself because I wasn't sure if I just didn't have the faith, and that's why God didn't heal me. And so about sophomore year or so, I saw this poster that was asking for volunteers of people who had recently gone through a situation with grief. Then I ended up signing up, and it was the psychology professor who wanted to do a study on the Psalms of Lament and how David presents his grief journey to the Lord. I would say that I had a pretty good relationship with the Lord like my whole life. I was born and raised in a Christian family, and so I obviously knew that the Lord was good in all things. And I kind of gotten to the place where He had taught me so much about surrender and so much about like trusting Him and finding my worth in Him and not in my piano playing and like giving up some of that perfectionism. So I felt like I learned all the lessons from God, but I didn't really know how to talk to Him about it still. And so going through this psalm study, we were really challenged to be completely honest with God in the way that that David is, which is a really radical thing to say because David is very honest with the Lord. He'll say to God, "You are not here right now, and you are leaving me in ways that you said that you never would." And just really crazy claims that previously I don't think that I would have been comfortable with telling God. And so a lot of times I would just be sad in my grief and then just say, "But God, I know you have a greater plan for this, and I know you're doing something good, and like I'm grateful for the lessons that you're teaching me." But I'd never really learned how to be completely honest with God. And so going through this psalm study was one of the first times that I felt like I had permission to tell God the full extent of my emotions, how frustrated I was, how deeply sad I was, how I felt forsaken by Him, and how I felt just completely abandoned by Him. So the first song that I'll share from my album is called Breathing Without Feeling, and it's taken from Psalm 38. And it really just takes a lot of really honest and candid words from David, and I used it to kind of think through the way that I was frustrated with the pain and feeling like the Lord wasn't near to me in this continual state of pain that I was in.
My frail frame is so unsteady, burden far too heavy, my sins I must carry. All the light has left my eyes, my heart throbs full of Christ with painful longing sighs. Are you far away now? Be not gone forever. Only you can answer. When will you answer? My own strength is failing under this weight I'm bearing. Are you far away now? Be not gone forever. Only you can answer. When will you answer? In you alone I wait now. My wounds thinking faster. Won't you answer faster? When will you answer? Do not now forsake me, Lord. Be not far from me, O God. Make haste to help me, Lord. My salvation, have you now forsaken me? Lord, you are so far from me, so slow to help me, Lord, my salvation.
So after the Psalm study, I felt like I was able to experience way more freedom, and that's kind of when I moved towards the acceptance stage too, because I think in grief journeys, once you're fully able to be honest, is when you're really able to accept what is happening in your life. After my sophomore year of college, I was home over the summer, and I randomly decided to pick up my guitar and start writing music, which was super random because I'd maybe written like 2 songs before, but they weren't very serious. And I just started writing music, and in that summer, songs just like flowed out of me. And it was a really weird experience because, again, I'd never really written music before. And all of a sudden, I just felt like I had all this stuff that I could just put down on paper and express myself in songwriting. I had been told freshman year by one of my friends, you might not always be a pianist, but you will always be an artist. And that had been something that had stuck with me. So I felt like this was really a gift from God because I couldn't really explain where this sudden like burst of songwriting had come from. And so I was just kind of writing songs and being like, wow, like God, this is kind of crazy, and really grateful. When I came back in the fall, I had the idea of writing an album based on the Psalms of Lament in order to kind of process through my grief. And that's how I started writing my album, Heart of Wax. When I started writing, I experienced the same thing that I experienced over the summer, where it's kind of just like the songs came out of me. And to this day, I can kind of tell you what my writing process looked like, but there was really just, I feel like the Lord's hand was just so over it. But I just felt like the Lord gave me this song as a way to experience more honesty and vulnerability and closeness with Him, because I was able to take David's story and make it my own, and then tell God about that, like I would tell a friend. This next song that I wrote, Enthroned Forever, is based on Psalm 102, which is personally my favorite song from the album, but it's really just a beautiful psalm that ends in peace and also wrestles with a lot of those difficult questions that you ask God when you're going through really hard times.
Broke down my strength. You shortened my days. I don't know your ways, but you're still the same. Forever you're enthroned forever. The heavens, they will perish, but still you remain. Like stripping off an old robe, they will pass away. but God, you reign. You never change. Like smoke, my days pass. My bones wither fast. My life is but grass. I cannot long last. Lord, hear me as I cry, Lord, hear me. Arise and still have pity. Zion's time has come. The kings will feel glory. Do not hide your face. Take me not away. In the midst of my days, let your name be praised as your people wait. Oh God, you reign. You never change. Lord, relent from your anger. Lord, hear my prayer. When will you answer?
So here I am today, and it has been 4 years since I started having chronic pain, and the pain hasn't gone away. There's some times where it improves. I've done some physical therapy and seen some doctors and tried all the different natural remedies and things like that. But the pain hasn't really gone away, and I've kind of started to see it as almost my thorn in the flesh. Now that I've kind of processed through the grief, I feel like I'm more at acceptance. There's obviously still days where I get really frustrated that I can't play piano, and I still grieve the fact that I can't play the songs that I want to. But I feel like the Lord has brought so much joy and beauty out of this journey. And so every day I deal with chronic pain, and that's impacted me in various different ways. I can't really wear rings anymore, which is what I used to love doing. I can't even really wear bracelets because that kind of exacerbates the pain. I really can't write with my hands for long periods of time. I can't practice for more than 30 minutes. And I'll go through periods where I can't even practice. I changed the way that I sleep now too, because I can't sleep with my hands in a certain position or I'll just wake up in pretty terrible pain. And so I feel like chronic pain has completely shaped the way that my life is now, but I've seen so much beauty that came out of it, and I could only fully experience that beauty when I started being completely honest with God. And I just think that that intimacy with God has been so beautiful to experience, just because I have been able to talk to God about other things that are maybe frustrating in my life with more honesty because of the way that I've seen His faithfulness through my chronic pain journey. And so a lot of things that have come out of it have been me getting to experience His power made perfect in my weakness. I've gotten to experience His gentleness, as He says in Matthew 11:28 through 30. That one passage about, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest," has been a really meaningful passage to me. But every now and again, I'll get frustrated and I'll just return to the Psalms, and I'm just always so encouraged by the honesty that David has. Being honest with the Lord has just led to only deeper intimacy with Him, and has not pushed me away from Him at all. And so this last song, called Lifted Hands by Psalm 28, is really just a reflection of the way that I've been able to move towards praising the Lord when I thought that I would be stuck in the grief journey forever.
To you I call, my rock. Be not deaf to me, be not silent to me. Hear my cry for help, and hear my make me not off with the wicked, who speak peace with the neighbors while they harbor evil thoughts. Give to their work and their evil, grant them their due reward, because they do not worship you. Blessed be the Lord, my strength. He has heard my voice. He has heard my pleas. In Him my heart does trust. In Him my heart exalts, as I live my song in great thanksgiving. For the Lord is the strength of His people. Oh, He is the refuge for His own. Save your people, bless your heritage, be our shepherd and carry us on forevermore. As I live my song in great thanksgiving.
So ultimately, I really just challenge you to be honest with the Lord. Whatever you feel that you're too afraid to bring to Him, or maybe something that you feel like is something that you can work out on your own, just trust the Lord that He welcomes all of that honesty, whatever that looks like, the ugly and the difficult. He loves all of that, and He wants to hear all of that. And all of that honesty can only bring you near to Him. My name is Lexi Tong, and this is the story of how the Lord redeemed my chronic pain and made it something beautiful through honesty with Him.